All right, listener, you ready for this? We're going deep today into pronouns.
Oh yeah, pronouns. They may seem small, but they're actually so important for clear communication.
And you know what? You sent in a ton of worksheets about them.
It looks like someone's ready to level up their grammar skills.
Totally. We've got reflexive pronouns, indefinite pronouns, demonstrative adjectives and pronouns, and even relative pronouns.
Plus, we have tables, exercises, and even a class survey. This is going to be fun.
Oh, it is. It's going to be epic. Okay, so let's jump right in and start with reflexive pronouns.
You know the ones that often go with the word by?
Exactly. I see this table here breaking them down for each grammatical person.
That table's really helpful. It shows how reflexive pronouns emphasize that the action is directed back at the subject.
Like when you say, I treated myself to a spa day, it's all about me, right?
Exactly. Or she blamed herself for the accident. It highlights her internal struggle.
Wow, I never thought about it that way. It really adds depth to the meaning.
It does. Okay, let's look at an example from the exercises.
All right, this one says, although he is only 3 years old, Jimmy can get dressed by. And then we had to choose the right pronoun. Him, himself, or itself.
So we have to think about who's doing the action here.
Jimmy's getting dressed,
Yeah.
and the action is reflecting back on him.
Right, so the correct pronoun is himself. It emphasizes his independence.
Even though he's only 3. I mean, don't most 3-year-olds still need a little help?
You've got a point there. Language can sometimes simplify complex situations.
It's true. Words can be so tricky sometimes. Okay, let's move on to demonstrative adjectives and pronouns.
You mean the ones that we use to point things out?
Yeah, those. I always get them mixed up.
Think of it this way. Demonstrative adjectives like this, that, these, and those are like little helpers.
Helpers, how so?
They modify nouns. They give us more information about the noun.
Oh, okay, so like, this pizza is amazing. This is telling us which specific pizza I'm talking about.
Precisely. And the key is a noun always follows a demonstrative adjective.
But with demonstrative pronouns, they replace the noun completely.
Exactly. You could just say, that is incredible, and everyone knows you're still talking about the pizza.
That's so cool. Like a shortcut.
Exactly. Now, are you ready to unravel the mystery of indefinite pronouns?
Oh, yeah. Indefinite pronouns always seem so vague and mysterious.
They do have an air of mystery about them. They don't refer to a specific person or thing like anyone, someone, or everything.
I see 5 key notes about them here. The first one says they don't refer to a specific person or thing, which we just talked about.
Right, and the second one says that each and everyone takes singular verbs, even though they sound plural.
So even though you might be talking about a group of people, you focus on each individual.
Exactly. So we would say everyone is responsible for their own actions. Not everyone are responsible.
That makes sense. I never realized there was a specific rule for that.
There is. And the next note talks about synonymous pairs like anybody, anyone, everybody, everyone, and so on.
So those can be used to avoid repetition and make your writing more interesting?
Exactly. Variety is key. And then we have a reminder that no one is always 2 words.
Right. And the last note talks about how nobody, no one, and nothing take singular verbs, but none can be singular or plural.
None is a bit of a rebel. It can be singular or plural depending on what it's referring to.
So you might say, none of the pizza is left, but none of the students are coming to the meeting.
Exactly. It all depends on the context.
Wow. This is fascinating. Okay, there's
Yeah.
also a did you know tip here about some and any pronouns.
Oh, yes. It says that we typically use some pronouns in affirmative sentences and any pronouns in negative sentences and questions.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. You might say, I need someone to help me move, but is anyone available to help me move?
I see. So someone is for when you're sure about something, and anyone is for when you're not sure.
You got it. It's all about the tone and purpose of your sentence.
This is making grammar so much more interesting. What do you say we move on to relative pronouns next?
Sounds good. Those are the ones that introduce those adjective clauses that give us more information.
Like those little side stories that make a big story more interesting.
Exactly. They add so much depth and richness to our sentences.
I'm ready to dive in. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Okay, so relative pronouns, they're the ones that introduce adjective clauses, right?
that's right. They give us more information about a noun.
I see a note here about whose. It's that it shows possession, and it's always followed by a noun.
Whose is a handy little word.
Yeah.
It lets us express ownership so smoothly.
Instead of saying, the cat's toy was stolen, you could say, the cat whose toy was stolen was heartbroken.
Exactly. It just sounds better.
Yeah, and it paints a picture of that poor cat. Okay, let's look at some exercises for relative pronouns.
Seems like a lot of people get confused about that. And which.
Oh, yeah. I'm always unsure about those.
Yeah.
Is there a simple way to remember when to use each one?
Well, in North American English, you can look at the comma.
The comma. What do you mean?
If you're adding information that's not essential to the sentence, the kind you'd set off with commas, you should use which.
Okay, so like the car which was bright red sped down the street.
Mm-hmm.
The color is just an extra detail.
Exactly. But if the information is essential to the meaning of the sentence, you use that without a comma.
So the car that I bought was a lemon. Here I'm talking about the specific car that was a lemon.
Yes. It's all about the focus of the sentence.
Okay. I think I'm starting to get it. What about who and whom, though? They always sound so formal.
They can sound formal, but they're not that hard once you understand how they work. Who is used as the subject of a verb, and whom is used as the object of a verb or a preposition.
Okay, can you give me an example? I always get confused about when to use whom.
Sure. Imagine you're at a party and you see someone interesting. You might ask your friend, who is that? Who is the subject of the verb is?
Okay, that makes sense.
But if you want to know more about that person, you could ask, to whom are you speaking just now? Now, whom is the object of the preposition to.
Oh, I see. So the preposition changes everything.
Exactly. It's all about the grammar.
Okay, I'm ready to test out my new knowledge. Let's do some exercises.
All right.
Yeah,
Let's see what we've got.
Okay, how about this one from Exercise 2, Indefinite Pronouns. It says, Miriam was very angry that you ate the donuts. We have to choose between none, some, or all.
Well, if Miriam is angry, it sounds like all the donuts are gone.
So it would be all, right? Who stops at just some donuts?
Exactly. Context is key when choosing indefinite pronouns.
Okay, here's another one. Everything in the room are from China.
Ah, good one. Remember, everything is singular, even though it sounds plural.
So the correct sentence is, everything in the room is from China.
That's right. The pronoun everything determines whether the verb is singular or plural.
I'm starting to feel like a grammar detective.
Ah.
Okay, let's move on to those relative pronouns.
You got it. Remember, relative pronouns introduce clauses that give us more information about a noun. They're like little extra details that make our writing more interesting.
All right, let's try this one. I would never marry a person who smokes 4 packs a day.
We're talking about a person, so both who and that could work here.
So you could say either who smokes 4 packs a day or that smokes 4 packs a day.
Exactly. Sometimes there's more than one right answer.
Okay, what about this one? Mary is going out with a man. Mother lives upstairs. This one seems tricky.
We need to show possession here, so whose is the correct choice.
So Mary is going out with a man whose mother lives upstairs. I can only imagine how awkward that must be.
Right. Okay, let's do one more. The bicycle Victoria bought was made in France. No comma, so we can use either that or which.
So both the bicycle that Victoria bought was made in France and the bicycle which Victoria bought was made in France are correct.
Yep, you're a relative pronoun pro now.
Okay, awesome. Now let's check out Exercise 7 Review of Pronouns 2. This sentence says, they always work by themselves.
Oh, no, themselves isn't actually a word. The correct reflexive pronoun is themselves.
Oh, right, themselves. It's so easy to get those mixed up.
It happens. Okay, what about this one? These is the best sandwiches I have ever had.
Something sounds off.
These is plural, so we need the plural form of the verb to be, which is are.
So it should be, these are the best sandwiches I have ever had.
Yes. Subject-verb agreement is important for clear writing.
Got it. Let's look at one more. The girl which I spoke to was a redhead.
We're talking about a person, so we should use who, not which.
Oh, right. So the correct sentence is, the girl whom I spoke to was a redhead.
That's it. Though in spoken English, using who in this case wouldn't be wrong either.
So sometimes it's okay to be a little flexible with the rules.
Language is always changing.
This is all making so much sense. I feel like I'm finally getting a grip on these pronouns.
That's great. Just keep practicing and you'll master them in no time.
I'm ready for more.
Yeah.
Let's see what other pronoun challenges we can conquer. All right, let's see. Paula visited Paris. That is in France. What do you think?
Well, we have that comma there setting off, that is in France.
So it's like extra information.
Exactly. It's not essential to the sentence, so we need which.
Paula visited Paris, which is in France. Got it. Okay, how about this one? There are a few good reasons, but many is bad.
Ah, yes. This is a tricky one.
What's the issue here?
Many is plural, so it needs a plural verb.
So instead of is, it should be are.
Right. There are a few good reasons, but many are bad.
Oh, okay, I see. Let's try one more. Mr. Tucker, whom is an English teacher, works at the university.
All right, Mr. Tucker is the subject of the verb.
So we need who, not whom.
Exactly. Mr. Tucker, who is an English teacher, works at the university.
Who? We covered a lot of ground today. I feel like a pronoun champion now.
Me too. It's amazing how much these little words can impact our communication.
You know what? I never realized how much there is to know about pronouns.
They're definitely more complex than they seem at first glance.
Well, listener, I hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the world of pronouns today.
We had a blast exploring those worksheets with you.
Remember, the key is to keep practicing and pay attention to how pronouns are used.
And don't be afraid to look things up if you're not sure. There are so many great resources out there.
Exactly. And here's something to think about. Have you ever noticed how authors use pronouns to create different voices for their characters?
It's a subtle technique, but it can really bring a story to life.
It makes you think about the power of words, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every word choice matters.
Well, that's it for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.